And we are live. Hello everybody, how are we doing? Hope you're all good. As some of you may have seen on the Nerdy Miniatures channel, I have set up a streaming schedule for the next couple of weeks. Starting Monday, I'll be painting Lionel Johnson, aka the first Primarch. And then the week after that, we'll be painting Alariel the Everqueen. But that could change because I just remember, of course, we have Darkwater out. So Alariel might be bumped down a week and we'll put Darkwater in that space. But regardless, it will be Lionel Johnson next week and then we'll move on to Darkwater. So I think, let's be real, that's what most people actually want to see here. Since we're looking at new releases, we might as well continue with the theme. But anyway, how is everybody? In today's stream, we're mostly going to be focusing on, well, we're going to be finishing off these figures. So I have this one that's completely blank canvas, needs to be done from the start. And the remaining ones need to have their highlights added. This one we started highlighting last week. You can kind of see he's got some on his shoulder panels and some on his knee. I need to do that basically on every single one of these so that obviously they all match. And then, yeah, we'll do their bases, and that way then these guys are done. That is our Space Walls ready for when we officially start playing Kill Team. And then we'll just have, of course, the lovely line to do. But we also picked up just the other day my Dark Angels Combat Patrol. So in coming weeks, I'll also be painting those guys, which I'm very, very, very excited for. Anyway then, let's get on with today's video, or today's stream. We're going to start by finishing off this guy's highlights, just because then he is done, because then his base is done, his highlights are done, he's finished. And then we'll go back onto, we'll paint our main guy, our grey guy, so that they're all painted, and whilst he dries, we'll add the highlights to the remaining ones. Alright then, if you hear any cluttering in the background, my cats are full of beans at the minute apparently. So I may mute the mic occasionally, because they've just had dinner, so they have zoomies now. But for now, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they will behave themselves. For now. And I'm going to start mixing some of our colours. So for that we are using White Scar, Thunderhawk Blue, and wherever it is hiding, I think by this point, if any of you guys have watched these streams, you know what I'm looking for. That's the one, Rust Grey, which is by far my favourite blue-grey that we have, actually. I know I say that every stream, but it's true. It's just such a pretty colour. I love it so much. Again, sorry there wasn't a stream yesterday, guys. Was not feeling well enough to stream yesterday. But I thought we'll do a little stream today. And then we'll have tomorrow off. And then we'll start a full week of streaming from Monday. Where we will do Monday all the way through till Saturday with Sundays off. Just to allow myself a little bit of a day to refresh. Of course, if we are really close to finishing a figure and it's still not done by Saturday, I will do on the Sunday as well, just to kind of make sure it's all finished before we move on to the next thing that week. But as a precedent, it will be Monday through Saturday at 6 o'clock. We will be logging on and going live and streaming for you guys. Hopefully you guys have had a nice start to your weekend. As some of you know by now, I have officially started my maternity leave now, so in a way, not only would this streams be really good for the channel and obviously keeping in contact with you guys, but it will also be a very good way of making sure I don't go stir crazy over the next few weeks, whilst I wait to become mum, and also while I'm off, because otherwise I feel like I'm just going to get a bit lost every day and get a bit bored. Because let's be honest, you can only watch TV so much before you get a little bit tired of it, and sometimes you just want a little bit of something different. As the main colours in this for highlighting, you do want to use layer paints. So Rust Grey and Thunderhawk Blue, even though I have used them as a base colour in this, they can be used as a base colour. But if you're using them as highlights, just make sure you're watering them down a bit more, because you're better off, if you're going to use them as a highlight, watering them down and doing more layers than not doing enough, if that makes sense. You can see that nice shoulder piece there. There we go. You could do some on the edge of these fingers. Focusing this mostly just on edge highlighting. I'm just using a really thin, as you can see, a very small detail brush to do this, just because I don't want them to go on too thick. Give them some nice blue toes there. And then the edge of his suit. Although I have adjusted the settings to be continuous focus, it doesn't seem to want to focus today. Okay. What I might do is actually just bring this slightly higher. I have a little bit more range of motion. Hello, Archangel, how are you doing? It's Team Nerdy, but Mr. Nerd is currently still at work, so it's just me at the moment. How are we? Anyway, how are you? As you can see, we've been working on art space walls. We've painted... Oh dear, dying. Why? What's happened? Just tired? Not feeling well? Or just a general emotion at the moment? House Summit virus got a couple of weeks ago, floored me, still have it. Oh goodness. That sounds horrific, you poor thing. There's nothing worse, I think, than like with it's either a persistent headache or a stomach bug. One or the other. They're both horrific. Because you just don't know what to do with yourself when you get poorly with either of those. Just going to mix a little bit of the fang now with some white to do some highlights on a few bits that have the fang on them. Which, for a reminder, the fang is this lovely purpley blue colour. I do hope you'll start being on the mend soon, and I do hope it's not as bad now as it was a few weeks ago. It is from the Dead Silence box. We managed to get our hands on it, as you know. And yes, in response to your message earlier, yes, we did also get our hands on Darkwater, which, surprisingly, I managed to get online, which I was really impressed with. I thought there was going to be absolutely no chance we were going to have to just ask them to hold one back for us in store. But I bit the bullet and I tried going online anyway, and I succeeded. I got us a box set of Darkwater, and we went into Warhammer World a week ago or so, and they have it out on display with some of the figures painted in it. It looks so pretty. It looks so lovely. I'm very excited to paint those figures. Oof, these aren't fit for purpose. No. I don't think they are at the moment. Hi, how are you, guy? Thank you for joining, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, you had Mr. Nerd at work when he was on his break, and I was on my computer when Darkwater went live, and he was like, go, go, go! And luckily, I managed to pick one up. So we got very lucky. Yes, Darkwater appears to have bombed between the map book, splitting the fans, and the £160 price tag. Most have walked far. I've walked from it as it never sold out anywhere. I feel this will be online only soon. It could very well be. The figures themselves The armies are absolutely stunning, having seen them in person. And in fact, the map book, because that was out as well, it's really, really flat, really versatile. It's actually quite, in a way, it's quite a unique preference to look at it and obviously see each map is potentially a different level. It's quite a nice little. It's a new concept, a new way of looking at things. We did some highlights on this guy last time, so he's got some grey through his hair already. So I'm going to pop this one off and pop another figure on. And we're going to highlight those whilst I've got these paints out. So I'm going to highlight my other guys, I think. And then we'll just paint this one guy, our one completely nude guy, towards the end. But regardless, we're going to be finishing this tonight, so they will all be done. Fun fact, this is the one at the very end of last stream I had in my hands and then accidentally dropped, and a little bit like a little anime character, he just kind of exploded into a million different pieces, so I had to glue him back together this morning before I could obviously paint him today. Right, I'm going to start with my yellow highlights as well on this one, so I'm going to mix some Avalanche Sunset with some white and some Phalanx yellow. All these pronunciations are just guesses. I'm not entirely sure this is how they're said, but it's how I say them. If you've not been able to go on any medication then Archangel, or are you just kind of hoping it will go on its own with your bug at the moment? Or is it a typical case with any GP where by the time you actually get an appointment you'll be feeling better? The reviewers have got there already and said the stitching in the centre is already showing. This was the fear instead of dice cut boards. But as per Game Workshop, make it cheaper, sell it for more. Yeah, I can understand that. We're going to be picking ours up, I think. We can pick it up after the 13th, so next weekend, I think, if I'm correct. That's when it goes live, or goes up for sale officially. But we're going to be going into our local store to pick it up. We still have our last Warhammer quest, and it's we have not painted any of the figures yet because there's just so many parts. Archangel, it seems to be a parasitic infection. Ate something contaminated. Ate a lot of packet sandwiches, so might be that. Yeah, maybe. I'm not a doctor, but if you're going to catch it from anything, potentially from that. Yeah, I would say so. Bless you, poor thing. Must be feeling pretty terrible. Right. Just adding a little bit more water into my colour now so I can use it as a highlight. Yes, my local cash converters has a Warhammer section. They're my go-to. They already had it, but legally can't give it to me until Saturday. Yeah, I think I did call my local store and kind of ask, like, do you guys think you'll be getting this? And they were like, we don't know. I was like, okay, that might be a yes, that might be a no. But to be honest, normally the person that would normally get on the end of the phone is their manager. And if he is going to get it, he'd just tell us straight away. and he's got a couple of new employees, and they were like, oh, I don't know. So they might not have been aware that normally if something's going to come out in their store, the manager would normally tell us. But sometimes they just don't get it. Sometimes they just don't get certain things, but it happens. Regardless, we got our hands on it, even if it is, you know, if it tanks and we don't enjoy it, fine. Worst case scenario, we'll use the figures for something else because they are very, very pretty. If not, I'll have a lot of fun painting the figures on stream. Most just doing edge highlights on these. Have you guys been up to anything today then? Been watching Fault play. It looks quite simple to start, but Jesus, those minis. Yeah. As soon as Mr. Nerd had to do something, and he was like, "Oh, just go ahead and head inside, and I'll be there. I'll be there in a minute." And I sent him a photo. I was like, "Look at them." And as soon as he got in, he was like, "Where is this?" And he went to where they were storing it. He stood there for about 5 minutes, just staring at the minis. And they only had like 2 or 3 painted, but my goodness, they did a good job. That's what I mean, like something about this hobby, you know, some people aren't in it for the games, they are purely in it purely for the aesthetic, for the painting, for the figures, and that's completely fine. And some people that's what they want to watch, that's all they want to see, which is completely chill with me. Like I think that's a nice thing. We've had quite a few subscribers on the channel who were only interested in it because of the artistic style. What I'm doing now is just getting some silver out as well, because whilst I do the blue, I'm gonna get that silver ready for when I do my highlighter. I envy you being next to Warhammer World. Yeah, it was one of those things where when we first moved to where we live, I didn't even like think about it, neither did Mr. Nerd. And we had like a friend of ours who was like, "Oh, we should go to Warhammer World." And we were like, "Oh yeah, like how long a drive is that?" And they told us, and I was like, "Oh, how long's that been there on our doorstep, pretty much?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, you know, years." Like, oh, we did not know. We did not realise. Because even though Warhammer is something that I've been into or been around basically my entire life, it's not something that I've played my entire life. But it is a really cool place. We've got some of like the, in addition to obviously the exhibits and obviously being really close to everything else, you also have like some of the Golden Daemon winners, some of their stuff goes in there. And it just looks amazing. They have like pieces or like walls dedicated just to entries from Golden Daemon and all that kind of stuff. And then of course you have like the tournaments. That's what I was looking for. Tournaments are also held there. Sometimes we'll go in there and it'll be dead, and then other times we'll go in there and it's just heaving with people. I'm like, where do they all come from? And then we realise like, there must be a tournament on, and we walk upstairs and the tournament hall is just bustling with loads and loads of people. Adding some of those blue highlights. It's everything in the hobby for me. I just can't get anyone to play. I've avoided it most of my life as I knew how involved it was. Now I'm in. Now I'm in it, my wallet, and Mrs. Regret It. Well, the thing is, my opinion, like there's far worse hobbies and far worse habits people can have. You know, if your hobby is literally just you spending money on plastic to enjoy, to build, to paint, and to play with, I don't see anything wrong with that personally. Cool, devil's advocate, of course, but yeah, there are far worse things you could do. But it's not the cheapest of hobbies. You are correct. We spent a small fortune. By we, I mean Mr. Nerd mostly. People never really have to wonder what you're doing though. Like if I'm around or Mr. Nerd isn't at home, he can more or less guess what I'm up to. And it's like, have you been working on figures today? I'm like, yep. There we go. Gonna move on to some silver highlights now, which for that I'm using Stormpost Silver. Well, that Trollslayer book was up for order. This morning. Special edition, £100 sold out via bots as per. eBay littered with them at double the price. GW, you again do nothing about it. Yeah. It's one of the worst things. It's one of the few things about buying anything online that is extremely upsetting as like a hobbyist in any kind of thing. But I think with this in particular, especially when it's like limited edition stuff, like you are ruining it for people who genuinely just want it because they want it. And I know some people, if they really desperately want it, will pay that money. But they shouldn't have to be like spending money out the nose to be able to get it, you know? It's just not fair to people who genuinely just want it because they love, you know, they really, really want it. Instead they have to fight bots for stuff, which is basically losing an uphill battle. Fighting an uphill battle, sorry. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of it. Even on release day for Dead Silence, this was 67? Yeah, 67.50. And we were still in the store when it went live, and people obviously were already advertising it and selling it for like £160, 140, £160, something stupid like that. And yeah, it's just madness. It really is. Because it just makes it difficult, because when you want to continue to support, you want to obviously do it for the hobby, and you're doing it for yourself, But it does make it more difficult to want to support certain things when that's what's going on and nothing's being done about it. Just gonna get out some Kislev flesh now and just do some highlights on this guy's skin. Optimus Prime, painted my Dark Angels badly over here. My first kill team. Phobos. Honestly, this is... I've only just now got into this, actually into 40k. There's something coming down the pipe. The Grey Knights are getting a refresh. There'll be new books, new boxes, books, etc. The Word It Kill team will have Grey Knights versus Daemons. That was a fast to get. They're updating quite a few things at the moment. Like, we were looking at the codex the other day for playing Kill Team. And also, not just that, but like combat patrol. And honestly, like, some of the stuff that is in them, they're like, oh yeah, like, don't worry, actually focus on this. Like, this is getting a new update soon. And you're like, hasn't this just got one? And then there'll be certain things that are, you know, dying for an upgrade that I've been needing one for years. And they're just not getting the love. Anyway, how are you, Optimus? How are you? How are we doing? You'll have to tune in a couple of weeks when we start doing my Dark Angels. You can tell me if I'm doing a terrible job on them or not. Only been doing this hobby for a year. Like, it's like a year this month, I think. I was looking at our YouTube channel and I was like looking at our videos and just kind of going, oh, like, when was our first video posted? How long ago was that? And it's 11 months ago, so as of January, we've been doing it a year. Welcome to the hobby, Optimus. Are you kind of looking at 40k mostly, or are you happy to kind of go with everything? A bit of Age of Sigmar, a bit of 40k, a bit of Old World? Or are you just still trying to figure out what you like at the moment? I'm just mixing up some Bugman's Glow here, by the way, for a highlight through his hair. It's not noob friendly, fella, but you've found a haven here. Oh, thanks, Hot Changer. I appreciate that. Truthfully, like, everything on our channel, every tutorial that is on there, is obviously something that can be deemed a bit more beginner friendly, because we've only been doing it a year ourselves, and we're using techniques that we've learned over the last year that made it easy for us. By us, I mean mostly me, because Mr. Nerd is very, very busy, so at the moment he does all the painting and all the building, and I do all the painting, and then he's painted a few things on the channel, and honestly his stuff is insane. But yeah, you're in a good place here, Optimus. We are obviously two noobs ourselves, myself and Mr. Nerd, and, you know, we've been told various times by lots of different people, you know, that we're doing certain things wrong or whatever, and we're more than happy to take on advice and like take heat if necessary and just be like, this is terrible, this is really good, do this better. More than happy to accept that. But it also means that if there's certain techniques that you're struggling with, we can kind of go, aha, I found out how to make that work or how to fix that. The OGs at my local shop don't have the time and patience to play 2K point games, so they let me watch and play Kill Team to learn. That's actually really, really nice. At our local, we have, fortunately, it's a very good manager where he's a very lovely person. Every other week, he puts on a different thing. So like 1 week it's Kill Team, the next week it's Warcry, but then you can request and book slots to play stuff like Age of Sigmar or stuff like that, or Combat Patrol. So if you're learning, like you can just go like, I don't know how to play this, I want to learn, can we come in and can you teach me? And he'll just go, yep, no worries, book us in for a time slot, and then we can just go in and learn that way. I'm also using Bugman's Glow here just to highlight the furs on this figure as well. It's very, very light, so I'm just picking out a few little ones. Well, like I said at the beginning, like we're very happy to have you here, Optimus. Like we're very lucky to have a little community that's growing very, very strongly at the moment, which is a bit of a blessing. Like I said, I'm on maternity leave now, so it's nice to have a group of people that every week I can talk to. And ahoy, Rothmer, aka Mr. Nerd. So Rothmer Gaming is the other half of this channel, Optimus. He also has his own channel where he does gaming as well, which is Rothmer Gaming. Archangel. I've been into Kill Team since it really started in 2021. I've never played a game. Glasgow GW store only cares about sell, sell, sell. Nobody in my friend group are into it. Online is my only friend. Give us all a spin of your marine, Mrs. Nerdy. Absolutely. So this is what we've got so far. He's come along quite nicely. So we've got a nice little skull on his back here. So I was able to actually use some contrast paints to fill that in. We've done some highlights on the yellow parts of his shoulders, some on his blue. Time to relax, play some Battlefield 6 and watch some painting. Doesn't sound like a bad evening. Jammy Jam Jam, fellow nerd, I have an 11-week-old hobbying such a nice break from the tiny. Well, congratulations. We're soon to have our own tiny little one. So, potentially in the next 2 weeks or so, maybe? We'll find out. 2 to 4 weeks is kind of the max at the moment that we are expected to go to. So if I suddenly drop off the face of the earth for a minute, it's because I've been thrown into the whirlpool that is parenting. But of course, we'll be sure to put like a little post to let you guys know when that happens. Hey Arch, how the devil are you doing? Thank you very much. It's looking the part. Thank you so much, Arch. I appreciate it. I've really enjoyed painting these guys, actually. Infected by Nurgle. Ooh, dying, so I got a Tommy virus infected by Nurgle. That's the only reasonable explanation, Arch. That can't be anything else. It's not those dodgy sandwiches, it's Nurgle. How are you finding the world of parenting then, Jammy Jam Jam? Is this your first? Right, I'm going to do his base and then I'll move on to another one to do some more highlights, I think. Some say infected, I would say blessed. Well, you are a bit of a fiend for Nurgle, Mr. Nerd. This is our third all-girls. I'd have more if my wife would be along with it. I love having tiny ones. Well, congratulations. What's the age gap like between them all? And I'm sure are the older ones just absolutely obsessed and doting on the little one now. Maybe in future a Wolfspear scheme. Oh, lovely. Just mixing up my main three colours now. So I've got the almond blue, the Lothern blue, and of course some blue horror to do my base. Yeah, this tiny one that we've got at the moment will be our first. Wolfspear looks awesome. Just googled it. A great white look to the models. Jam, jam, jam. 10-7 and the other two. The 10-year-old changes nappies and everything, like a built-in babysitter when we're tired. Mr. Nerdy, this the Darkwater box set next Saturday. Here you signed up. Yes. Because at this point I did put Alariel's for next week, but let's be real, at this point it's probably going to be Darkwater and then Alariel the week after. But I do think we'll be doing Darkwater for quite a bit, to be honest. Because there's a lot of figures. I have a stream schedule out, but I think the Darkwater set will replace it. I'll be home from work to build it. That is the only thing. That's the only thing holding back certain things. Is I have to wait for Mr. Nerd to come back to build them. It's the same with my Combat Patrol. I'm going to be starting that as soon as Mr. Nerd is back to build it for me. The Darkwater set looks nice. It does. We have gone into, like I said earlier on, we went into Warhammer World the other day. And they had it out on display, and it is so pretty. The figures look absolutely magnificent. So I'm looking forward to painting both sides, actually. Good and evil on that bit. Bit pricey jam for 160. I will stream both stream. Get my words out now. We will likely both stream painting it. Might even play it on the stream. I think that would be ideal. Actually, a really good idea for a stream. If you guys would be into seeing that. Like with my other ice bases, I'm going in with these paints whilst it's all still wet. And mixing them together so that the colours bleed into each other to create a... I'm not going to say realistic, because obviously ice isn't blue like this, but an icy looking base. Everything's pricey now. You are very correct. Mr. Nerdy, I've been watching folk play it. Looks fairly simple and a lot of fun. I really like the cards/energy method for playing. Okie dokie, so that's this guy now. He's had his highlights, he's had his base painted. Could pop into one side and move back onto one of our other ones now. Should be... Did do some highlights on this one already, but there's just a couple more I want to perfect. He's a happy little furball. Did you finish Mohawk Man? Yes, I did. That is this guy right here, actually. Well, this is like Hades' spiky hair. And then we have this guy, who we've obviously just done, who also has like a mini mohawk. So we've just added some highlights to him. And then we have this guy who also has a mohawk, but we haven't painted him yet. So we're painting him today. But I thought I'd do all my highlights, and then whilst all the highlights dry and the base is dry, I can paint him. And then we can add the snow effects to the remaining bases whilst this dries, and then we'll highlight him last. So it will be a longer stream today, but everything will be finished today. How did the puppy turn out? I will show you how the puppy turned out. There's the puppy. As you can see, he's already had his highlights done on his fur. So his highlights are done. So really with him, I just need to do his base and add his snow. But he's a good doggo. He's a good puppy. But I'm going to add a few more highlights to this guy first. Keep forgetting what the puppy's name is. Have you painted your Cursed City set? On that subject, did you get the expansions they put out via White Dwarf? They're on the Scribd app, but need a sub. I managed to get them for free. Winky face. We haven't even built. I think have we built the figures, Mr. Nerd? I don't know if we've built them yet. No, we have built them. I remember we have built them. I just haven't painted them. That was like a really big challenge, but that's going to be a fun one. So definitely in coming weeks, once we've done Darkwater, I might get the bug and I might want to paint that one. If I don't feel like going, if I feel like driving myself even more insane. Right. This guy mostly just needed like his darker blue areas highlighted, so that's my focus today. And then this guy's highlights will be more or less done. I think, to be honest, when we finally put everything together, like I popped all the pieces out and Mr. Nerd was building, the Cursed City were like, oh my goodness, there is a lot here. And it became a little bit daunting. But of course, as the type of game that it is, it's going to be a lot of pieces. There are several hundred quid. There's several hundred quid of Age of Sigmar minis to buy in order to be able to play the expansions. Oof. Yeah, no. I mean, we don't really need an excuse to buy anymore. But considering the fact we're trying to focus on 40k at the moment, I think it's best we stay away from that for now. I think Darkwater's the only Age of Sigmar thing we've got. And then also we'll paint Cursed Cities stuff. And then after that, it's just Combat Patrol, obviously Lion Combat, and then Alariel. Alariel's the one I've been putting off the longest. So it stopped me from getting the expansion. Yeah, like Alariel's the Age of Sigmar that I've been putting off the longest just because she's such a big figure, she's so daunting. But I think at this point, if I'm not ready to paint her, then I'm never going to be ready. So I need to just bite the bullet there and go in and paint her. I need to get it over and done with. This guy could actually do with a little bit more shading, I think, as well. So that's the guy we were doing before. So I'll add a little bit of shading. I might have to go back in and do some of his highlights, but that's fine. I was just looking at him thinking, you're looking a little bit flat. He needs a little something. Also, I'm trying to think what colour scheme to paint my space commies. What do you guys think? I wanted to go for cell shading. What do you guys think that Mr. Nerd should do? Bearing in mind we have got a very, very large selection of colours, so if you think of a colour combination, we've probably got it. If not, we can always buy paints. A little drink break there. Jammy, how is your little one sleeping then? Are you guys more or less constantly sleep deprived, or is she doing all right so far? There are only 2 expansions, Night Wars and Nemesis, but there are 2 of the Warhammer community and 3 in various White Dwarf mags. I've managed to acquire 1 PDF if you ever want them. We'll let you know, Arch. We've now got all of the socials linked in the description of the videos and of the streams. So if you guys do want to follow us on there, then feel free. But I do want to create a Discord. I was trying to research today how to actually do that, because I'm not the best when it comes to the various forms of technology, but I do want to get better. So I'm just putting this one back on because there's a massive blue stripe across his back for some reason. So I'm going to quickly fix that and go from there. I do want to create a Discord so you guys can obviously join us in that community as well. But down in the description we have a Reddit, we have a Twitter, we have a Blue Sky. So if you want to support us on those and share photos with us, then please feel free. I'm absolutely vanilla on Tau. I love the black and white, although the orange is nice too. I wouldn't say no to those, haha. A maroon, red and black scheme. Ooh. That would be very, very nice. The colour I'm using to fix this thing is Tuscal fur, by the way. But I'm going to have to go back in with some shading just to... Obviously, I must have violently swept a blue brush over this at some point in the last few times I've been painting and just did not even realise until today, but hey-ho. Feel free, Archangel. We've got... I saw when you posted on there, when you shared some stuff with us. So, feel free. Like I said, if there's any pieces that you guys have been working on that you want us to see, then share it on the socials because we would love to see them. So if you wanted to share your Dark Angel on there, Optimus, then you absolutely can. Because they said you're new to the hobby, so we. Do you guys like to go for like your traditional colour schemes, or do you guys like to be a bit creative? I know you've mentioned before, Arch, that you tend to kind of like stick with kind of what's there. But what about the other guys? What do you guys like to do when it comes to colour schemes? Do you like to be a bit more adventurous? Or do you kind of just like to follow the guide as is? Okay, once the back of that dries. Codex compliant. Nice and simple. Does the trick. Whilst that dries, I'm going to add the snow to our Wolfie boy. Because I can't obviously shade that until that is done. And then once that's done, I'll go back in and shade this guy. So just pop him back on his little stand. Ready? Pop him to one side. Oops, I've got a Wolfie boy here. What you see is what you get. Obviously, the colour system works for a reason. It exists solely for that purpose. In addition to obviously looking cool and being lore accurate, it does look good. Just popping that one in screen for a moment just whilst I get the Valhallan Blizzard. Which I don't know, because I've used this obviously quite frequently now. It's a technical paint. I don't know if you've used any technical paints before, Optimus. But like I use quite a lot of technical paints at this point in my whether I'm building or whatever. Like I use quite a lot of these. So that this has actually had the ice on it as well. It's not been very icy, so I may have to just go in and spot apply it to a couple areas. You can't do it from the Codex. It's the Emperor's will. Well, in that case then, to be honest, I'm using the Citadel starter pack. It's a great starter pack. Obviously, the whole point of it is it gives you everything you need. But we've bought it for a friend of ours pretty recently who's just got into it as well. It's an easy place to start. You know you've got all your basics. I think when it comes to Kill Team, it'll be, well, 40k lore in particular, it's kind of the only time that I'll be 100% lore accurate when it comes to colours. Just because obviously with Dark Angels, I do want to stick to that kind of more lore accurate colour scheme. Everything except Dark Angel Green. Yeah. The one that you need. Had to buy that extra. Luckily, it's not too expensive, though. At least it's only one paint you had to buy. Playing devil's advocate a little bit there. We have a very large collection of paints. Yeah, like we've got 4 paint stands in total. All 4 are full. Each palette thing kind of holds about 50 paints. So yeah, we've got quite a few. I'm just using my calculator because I cannot do quick maths to save my life. And there are some that overflow that don't fit on our palette either. So, quite a lot. Have you downloaded the Citadel Colours app at all yet, Optimus? It's completely free. Highly recommend it. And also then what you can do when you start expanding your colours and the ones you've got from your starter set, you can input them into that. So that way then you don't buy any duplicates. So you're not wasting money buying stuff that you don't need. We made the mistake for ages of not having it, and now we are so grateful that we have it. Because we made the mistake of buying a lot of duplicates, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I feel like this isn't as shiny as I want it to be. I'm going to go back in over the rest that doesn't have the snow with hard coat to make it look like ice. This will dry clear and it creates a nice base for ice, basically. Just gives the impression that it is water or an icy base. Go into Bruce spreadsheets. There we go. Well, to be honest, if anybody would, it would be Gulliman. He's a very organised person, okay? Well, that's the impression I get from good old Rabute Gulliman. When we went in the other day, that we discovered that Warhammer now also does alcohol. Like, in addition to like beers, they now do spiced rum and like blood orange vodka and stuff like that. That's interesting. Right. Whilst that dries, I'm gonna bring this boy back into frame. Excuse me. And we're gonna shade him and then maybe have to re-highlight him again. But once we've done that, then all of the others are highlighted. Yep. All the others are highlighted, and then we just have our last boy to paint, highlight, and shade. And obviously on this one, I need to add his glossy base as well, but I'll do that whilst I start painting our last naked boy. So we're going in with Drakenhoth Nightshade, which is a lovely blue shade paint, and a bigger brush to paint that. Newest Space King is out. Oh no. Question is, Mr. Ned, are you going to wait until you get home to watch that with me? I really do need to do an entirely blue scheme at some point, just so I can coat everything in this, because it's so pretty. I'm 3 minutes into it. I think that answered your question. Yes, it did. So you'll be watching it again with me then, won't you? All I can say, Mr. Nerd, is I swear to God, if I'm in labour and I hear the words be positive, whatever you're watching it on will go out the window. Just so you know. I do have a single model not painted yet, which is this guy. But that's why I'm finishing off the highlights or the shading on these guys. And then whilst these dry, I'm going to paint him, because it won't take me too long. We'll be starting him very, very shortly. It's taking me an hour. Have a look at the wolf spear paint scheme. It looks amazing. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. That's a problem. Because that's very nice. Why did you do that to me? Put that to one side for now and try and ignore it. Also just realised I missed this guy's belt buckle, so I'm going to add some Retributor armour to that. Aside from Lead Belcher and Null Oil, this has probably got to be our other most used paint. Is Retributor armour. Use it on pretty much everything. Anyone tried out Battle Builder? Can't say we have, Arch. What about you, Optimus? It's alright, Arch, I knew what you meant. So we've not tried it, I don't know about anybody else. They 3D print nameplates for the bases of your minis. Ooh. Rothmer's face, that is pretty much exactly what mine just did as well. I can have Dominator Dave on my Dominator engine. Yes, you can. That's exactly the one that came to mind when you said it, actually. Speaking of which, Optimus, obviously, because you're new, you haven't seen Dominator Dave. Don't know who in the world Dominator Dave is. Allow me to introduce to you Dominator Dave, because he is still here. This is Dominator Dave. With his little movable arms. So they're maces, but we refer to them as maracas. But this is Dominator Dave. And he is a pain in the behind to play in Warcry, play against in Warcry. I've only managed to kill him once, and that is by basically sacrificing almost my entire team to kill him. But, and his fart bomb, yes. Yeah, it's insane, isn't it, Optimus? This was, I think, if I remember correctly, 18 hours of painting for just one figure, and he's still got other figures that he's painted which are just as incredible. But, yeah, this is 100% probably, in my opinion, the best one he's ever done. And he's done some really, really cool pieces. So I'll very proudly show that one off any opportunity I get. Not even my work, but I'm very proud to show off what he's able to succeed and achieve. Because it's very, very cool. He's done a very good job with it. Right, now let's go in with my, pardon me, highlight shade on his yellow now. Which of that I'm going to use Right Glammed Flesh shade. I'm pretty sure Rothman's just disappeared purely to browse that now. Arch. I fear we may have lost him. Either that or he's just going to start buying random plates of things to just label things around the house. Every Warhammer figure will now have a name. Did you get any people for his contrast? Def, give last Hammer's recipe a go. I still haven't bought it. I keep forgetting every time we go in. It's like on my list and I just keep forgetting it. I need to pick it up. Like I said, we're going in next week when we go to pick up our dark water. So I'll have to make like an alarm on my phone or something, a little reminder. Yeah, when we go in next to go pick up our dark water, we'll pick it up then. Because I've been having a little bit of a gander at contrast paints at the moment anyway. Trying to do a piece that's like almost, I want to do a piece that's literally entirely contrast paints maybe. Just to see what I can create and go from there. Right. I'm going to add his ard coat to his base now. And whilst that dries, we'll paint our last naked boy. I'm going to paint him in this scheme just because it's going to annoy me if he doesn't match everybody. But I think I may have to find some excuse to pick up some other figures. In fact, I think I should be getting some into the house around Christmas time. So I will probably have a little collection then to play with, where I'll be doing that wolf spear paint scheme, I think. War Hipster is a YouTube painter that uses a lot of contrast. His stuff is fabulous. Give him a wee watch. I will. I'll have to make a note of that. In fact, I'll make a note of it right now. Otherwise, I will forget. Made a note of that. Because as soon as you mentioned Last Hammer in the last stream, I went ahead and followed her as well. Like I said, I know she hasn't been posted for a bit because obviously she's just had a little one herself. But her stuff is very, very cool. Right. Don't be too shocked. You don't have to avert your eyes. We do have a naked boy on set, but, you know, he's not going to be naked for long. He'll be okay. Right. By this point, if any of you have watched any of the previous videos with this one, you know the base is going to be a combination of Russ Grey and Thunderhawk Blue. And then I'll be using some Fang, or the Fang, and some Avalanche Sunset as well periodically. But I'll show you guys those ones as I use them. Another is a Welsh fella, Noel, the painting coach. His stuff is really top tier. Okay. This is good. This is good information to have. This guy's really cool, actually. Both are painting the dark water box at the moment. Okay. I'll definitely have to have a look then. This guy looks like he's about to break out into a dance at any moment. What do you think, Rothmer? Do you think I can expect some of those little labels coming in the post anytime soon? Getting jealous watching you paint those space walls. Still not open mine because I've been sick. Well, they'll still be there when you aren't sick, Arch, so they'll still be there. Focus on getting yourself better first, and then go from there. I think that's one of the things I do really like about doing this stuff is, one, like everybody's here because they're genuinely interested in it, and two, it's like a nice little community that's grown over a very short period of time, really, into something that's really, really cool, and it's something that will continue to grow over the next, well, for as long as it's here, which will be forever, hopefully, and for as long as we're posting. Obviously, there'll be a very, very short hiatus when it comes to when little one is born, but then once that happens and we've kind of found our feet, we'll go back to regular streams and stuff like that. Are you guys doing Mr. and Mrs. Nerdy Discord? That is the plan. Yeah, so I was looking into it a little bit today. I do want to do a Discord for both of us. It's on my list of tasks, that's for sure. At the moment, Rothmer, aka Mr. Ned, has his own on there, which I'm also in, but I will be doing one specifically for this kind of stuff. We'll do, like, on that Discord, we'll do one that's obviously dedicated just to Sigmar, one to 40k, one to Middle-earth. So everyone can kind of share what they like over there. Can share ideas, colour schemes, photos of their own stuff. It'll be a very cool place. And also a place where this community can connect more consistently rather than just through streams. Although it's nice also to catch up via streams. I think when we're all so far apart from each other, it's nice to have a place where you can all stay in contact. Everland Sunset. Obviously, we have the other socials for that, but through the Discord, it will be really, really nice to kind of keep this little community if everyone wants to join it, so everyone can make friends through there and chat through there as well. So as soon as I've got one up and running, I will also be adding it into the socials links. So I think, like, just since we've started streaming alone, we've gone up by like 150 subscribers or something ridiculously quick like that, which is actually incredibly grateful and amazing. But it's just like, wow, how did that happen so quickly? But obviously people like watching streams. I don't blame them. But you also get a good feel of the people behind the camera, obviously, when you actually stream. People can see you also get a feel for your community better. It's nice. It's a nice way to stay in contact with everybody. I think during the day, because I'm going to be a bit busy tomorrow, but during the day on Monday, I'll definitely have another look into the Discord. So Optimus, if you're still watching, what part of the world are you from? So we've got two Brits, we've got a Scotsman here. What else have we got? I think we've got someone we've had people from the Czech Republic, we've got people from a bit everywhere here, actually, at the moment. USA. We've got an American. How are you anyway? So what time is it over there where you are? What part of the States are you in? Because it's quite a large time zone difference. Brooklyn. Wow. Quite a diverse little community for people from everywhere. I love it. What about you, Jammy Jam Jammy, if you're still here? Where are you from? We're coming to drink you dry in the summer, America. Yeah, like there's no argument for argument's sake here. When it comes to drinking, I don't think anybody can really do it better than... Well, obviously British alcohol stuff is generally a bit different anyway. Stronger, high percentages of higher volume, sorry. And yeah, it's just like, I think any Brit or Scotsman's or Irishman's like favourite pastime, more or less, is drinking. Not a bad footy result, to be fair. Just going in with the fang now. There's some pieces just on the back of this figure that I just want to fill in with that. Before I move on to any gold elements. Brazil, Morocco and Haiti. We want to go over for a fan zone. Love the Space Wolves paint scheme. It just pops so well. It really does. Like I said, I'm a big fan of this blue anyway. I love the blue and yellow contrast, like the combination of the two. It's one of my favourites. But it just works so well. Just making sure I haven't missed any spots now. Or giving certain layers an extra coat. Optimus, I forgot if you mentioned earlier, are you looking to expand outside of just 40k? Or are you looking to stick just to 40k at the moment? I think you're going to skin next. I'm going to use some Gortha Brown mixed with some Bugman's Glow for the skin. To be honest, I like most 40k paint schemes. The Dark Angels also look awesome. At this point, Mr. Nerd is just entirely Tau. God, space communists. And I'm Dark Angels. Just mixing the Bugman Glow in with the brown because it creates like a pinky toned brown shade. So it makes for quite a nice flesh colour. I'm going to go in with a nice small brush again. And a bit of water. We have the Dark Angels Combat Patrol. I got myself the Tau Battle Suit Battle Force, which was actually a really lucky find. Because when Mr. Nerd was showing me, he's like, I want to go for this one. It was completely sold out everywhere. And we were like, okay, it might be a while before you get your hands on that. It's not limited edition or anything, but it might be a while. And again, we went into Warhammer, and it was right there. So I just quickly grabbed one. They only had 3 copies left. So I just scooped one up. I like that there isn't a single person in this little unit that has like a regular haircut. They've all got mohawks or something. They'll have to be just like a little bit edgy. Not super edgy, but just a little bit. Got a little speck of brown on his suit there, but that's okay. I can clean that up in a moment. But the question is, because I've only got one blonde guy, do I give him a blonde mohawk? Because I've got brown, I've got ginger. I think I'll give this guy a blonde mohawk, you know? Something a little different. I'm going to use Zemesi Desert for the yellowish blonde undertone for that though. And then I'll go over that with the contrast paint. called Skeleton Horde to make it more of a dirty blonde colour. There we go. A blonde mohawk boy this time. And now I'm going to start going in with some gold on the elements, like on his watch, on some of the pouches and stuff on his leg. I'm going to add gold to that as well as his belt buckle. And then for the rest I will do silver. Then I'll do the brown on his furs, and by that point his hair will be dry, so I can add the contrast paint. And then we can do his highlights. And then it's just this guy's base and the other guy's base to do. The guy I just did a minute ago. The one who just added the ard coat to. And then yeah, that's everybody complete. This has been quite... The last thing I painted was my Flamehead Red Sonya from Hero Quest. Definitely need to have a red head in my Dead Silence box. Also thanks Arch the Battle Builder for base looks awesome. For bases looks awesome. Yeah, we'll start with Retributor armor, just because I'm going to have to put some silver on his face, and I want to do that when his hair's dry. They do, lad. I'm tempted for named characters. I feel like you need to get something really, really daunting and terrifying, and then give it a really soppy name. Because let's be honest, like Dominator Dave looks pretty terrifying. The fact he's called Dave doesn't really match his name, his namesake. But when you see him play, yeah, he is a Dominator. It works. Yeah, as far as redheads go, I've got my red wolf, and I've got my red-headed mine boy as well. So I've got technically a couple redheads in my little arsenal here. The redheads are fun to paint. Time to do his belt now. I've asked Santa for 2 war bands. Go fill out my war cry starter set. I love the vampires. The vampires are really, really cool. Hopefully you get what you ask for. Getting our silver ready now, which is, of course, lead belcher. When you're painting Optimus, you will start to realise there are certain colours that you will use for pretty much everything. And lead belcher, retributor armour, Nuln oil, you'll probably find you use those on most things. Comes a little bit of a habit. I was hoping to get Mr. Nerd, he knows about this gift, which is why I'm saying it out loud, Mortarion, but from the Horus Heresy version for Christmas, but it's completely sold out at the moment. So I don't think I'll be able to get that before Christmas. But we know he likes his plaguey boys, so... Don't know what happened with the light there for a minute. I think I might get the Skink Warcry set and paint them with contrast only. That would be really cool. I think I've got a ghost playing with my lighting again. Skinks painted with just contrast would be really, really cool. After Mortarion, yeah, but specifically Horus Heresy version. Because I found the Age of Sigmar version, no, the 40k version, sorry. He is cool, but he is nowhere near as cool as the Horus Heresy version of Morty. I may need to. This is the one I'm trying to get my hands on, this version in particular. Just looks so stinking cool. Horus version, yeah. Because we've got, our local store has the 40k version, but specifically the Horus version, because he just looks so much cooler. Never mind then. Thank you anyway, Arch. I appreciate it. I think that one, from what I read anyway, is online only. So I would have to wait until it comes back in stock online. But mark my words, I will get him eventually. He is worth it, 100%. I see why he's temporarily out of stock, because he is very, very cool. Keep going on like once a week or so and just checking, and so far it's just like, nope, I'm still not here. It's like, oh, okay, never mind. Just getting a little bit more lead voucher so I can finish off his little radio on his pouch here. Yeah, I think most people, as you would know, Arch, at this point, that Mr. Nerd's a little bit of a dirty heretic, so he does like his Plague Boys, he does like his Nurgle, his Tau. We've been going now for just shy of 2 hours. I think we've done quite well so far. Just that really small brush to do his eyepiece as well, just to make sure I don't get it all over his skin. This actually might be my favourite one so far, between this guy and my Orange Mohawk boy. I think they're my favourites so far. This guy isn't even finished yet. There we go. I'm just having a look at this guy's base. That one's nearly dry, which means I think what I'll do is I will do his furs, and then once I've done that, we'll do his base, and then move on to his shading and his highlights. So furs, it's Tuscal fur. Yeah, very nice colour actually. Yeah, there's pouches, there's furs. For the rock that he has stood on, not his rock, sorry, the pouch that he has, I'm going to use some dryad bark. Not too much, because he's only got a couple pouches in comparison to some of the others. Hello again. You found one. You'll have to send me a link over Twitter or something. I found one. I'll have to have another look. Bear with me a second. Now, the Mortarion from Horus Heresy is £86 online. Yeah, there's one with the Imperium games. Ooh. They're asking 125 new and sealed. Okay. I have to have a look at that. He's got some straps on his back here, so we can use that brown to fill those in as well. So what you mean? It's a beast. It really is. It's pretty remarkable. We do want to collect a bunch of them, but I just thought it made sense for us to start with the ones we like the most. So obviously the Lionel Johnson I've got isn't Horus Heresy Lion, it's 40k Lion, but he's still very, very, very cool. So I look forward to starting that very, very soon. I think I've just got to do this little pouch over his blade here. And then he's ready for shading. What colour do I want to do that pouch in? I think you use Steel Legion drab for that one, actually. I'm not getting dragged down the Primarch rabbit hole. If I did, I'd be a big Bobby G and that's it. That is fair enough, Arch. Would it be cool to have all of them though? You're a bad influence, Mr. Nerd. Stop. To be honest, I haven't actually looked at Lion from Horus Heresy. I've only actually looked at him from 40k. Okay, that's a problem. Because he's also temporarily out of stock, so it's a good thing in that respect. But look how cool. Your wallet wouldn't think so. But look how cool he is. With his really, really cool helmet. Yeah, he's very, very cool. But this is the version we are painting as of next week. He's very cool. That's better as well. Lion, yeah. So this is the one we're painting next week. This is Lionel Johnson with his little watchery type mounts either side of him. So that's the one we're starting on Monday. I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, that's going to be a challenge, but worth it. Right, I'm going to quickly just do the rock he stood on, and that's every single part of him, of his base painted. Then going to leave that to dry, redo the highlights on this guy. Looks like Charles Dance does, yeah. We're going to do the base on this guy and redo some of his highlights, obviously, because I forgot, I overshaded him. And then by the time this is done, this one will just be his shading and his highlights. And then we'll leave it at that, I think, because obviously the base is the same on every single one of them. I'm not going to sit here and make you guys literally watch paint dry whilst the yard coat dries on this one, so you can see me put snow on something when you've seen me put snow on all the others. So we'll quickly do a little switcheroo. And we'll go back in to highlight this guy. It's your Psycho handy. There we go. Thing is though, like at this point in the war, in the lore, Lion is just the granddad of the group. He's just grandpa with some serious wartime PTSD. He's the one who starts sitting there talking to you about Vietnam, and you're like, no, grandpa, fine, you're safe. Go some of his edge highlights. Very nice. Right, now for his blue edge highlights. There we go. Okay. Yeah, some of his heights actually didn't get that badly hidden, so I'm going to leave those at that. Because I don't want to go overboard. Going with a tiny bit of Estrian Grey on the rock that he stood on. In fact, no, I won't. I will leave that and I'm just going to cover it in snow. And then this guy's dry, and then we've just got to finish off our other one. Love the way Ardcoat gives the icy finish, or the icy effect. It is so nice. It does do a really good job of creating that resin-like look, you know, without obviously having to use resin, so it's a win-win, really. So obviously resin's a lot more expensive than Ardcoat is. So yeah, very happy we've got this instead. Right, time to just scoop out a little bit of Valhalla Blizzard. There we are. And just start manipulating that around the rock. Specifically looking like a rock, it looks like he's standing on a pile of snow. There we go. I was also looking at like base tutorials as well this morning. I was just looking at what kind of other tutorials or other bases I'd like to do on other figures in the future. Because so far we've obviously done snow, done ice, I've done swamp. I want to do something a little bit different. Just don't know what yet. If there's anything you guys want to see, then let me know. There we go. Now he looks like that, all finished. So now to just finish off our last boy with his shades, highlights, and then that's it. Everybody is finished. This has been... How long ago did this come out now? I want to say a couple weeks. 2 weeks. About 2 weeks of just consistently painting this base, so this base in particular, these figures. Worth every second of it, because they turned out very, very cool. Sorry, I had to stop to yawn there, but yeah, I'm very proud of how they've come out together. For my shades, I'm going to use Drakenhoth Nightshade, Reichland Flesh Shade, and then for any silver pieces, Nuln Oil. So those are the three we're going to go in with for our shading. That turned out smashing. The time is worth it, thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think if you put the time and effort into it, it will be worth it. Especially if when you're doing, in some cases, it can take me a day. If I was doing all of these in one go, this would be like an entire day just to shade or to paint all of them, just with their bases. And then another whole day just to do everything else. So it's nice to just do it in like little slots, make time for it. And obviously do it on live, so you guys can obviously watch it and also we can communicate and talk back and forth about it. So it's more fun this way. I'm also going to use Reichland Flesh Shade over the yellow and any gold pieces as well, just because I think it looks better on the gold than if I was to go in with Nuln Oil, just because it kind of creates a more warm, ornamental look. By the time I've gone around and like shaded all these pieces, it won't take long for it to dry. There was also transfers for the polygons to do. I also don't know how to do the transfers yet, so I will have to look into how to do that. I think it would just be 2 boys that would get transfers out of all of these, because all the others have got some kind of like ornate piece or something on their shoulders. There we go. That's the Drakenhof. Now I'm going to go in with Reichland Flesh Shade, just picking up the right size brush that I want. Okey-dokey, where did I put you down? There it is. So, Reichland Flesh Shade. What time to get a delivery every? That sounds about right. I'm actually getting a delivery at all from every. Just being nosy, Mr. Nerd. Anything good? Anything interesting? No, I've not seen the War Mag. If I got my War Mag delivery, do you guys ever see them? No. No, I have not. Mr. Nerd, have you? Storage for dark water. Ooh. Whilst that dries, I'm going to go in with the skeleton horde over his hair now. Just to create his mohawk a bit of a dirty blonde. I think skeleton horde's like my most used contrast shade. Just makes the blonde look a little bit less artificial, a little less yellow. A bit more dingy. Giving Mr. Nerd ideas, Arch. They are a magnet company. They noticed a gap in the market. Folk using their magnet sheeting on a base of plastic boxes to store Warhammer minis. Ooh. Right. Now the next shade, which is non-oil. Once that dries, I'm going to quickly grab the transfers. The box is next to me, so it's not going to be that hard. And then I'll paint the base in that blue, because by that point the shade should be completely dry, and then it's just some highlights. And that's it. We'll be done with the entire set. So they print die-cut magnet sheets for the boxes and die-cut circles for the minis. Ooh. Pretty sure Mr. Nerd has got one too many things, like one too many ideas from this stream today. And nothing to do with the actual stream, just content that you guys have recommended, specifically you, Arch. expecting like a package of lots of random assortments to come in now. So I've got Onyx Black Case with turquoise magnet bases for dark water, and my Cursed City is of course black and red, of course. I'm just having a look at the transfer sheet for a moment, just whilst this dries. That's awesome, I like that idea. Just making sure I've got, yep, I have some tools to use for these transfers. Now's the question of which one do I want to use. You can shake the box around and your minis don't move. The magnetism is really strong. That would be great for transferring, wouldn't it? For transporting from one point to another. Just trying to decide which ones to use. Quite a few options. Nothing can hold him down. Would it keep Dominator Dave safe? Sure, if you found one big enough, something would. Once they're built, putting them into the original box ain't a great option. They'd get damaged. In these, they are solid. We currently use big plastic tubs and a lot of kitchen roll. Yes. Pretty much. That's all we use. Just picking a couple of decals. It's going to do one on each. So on this boy, he'll get one on his shoulder. And then this guy will get one on his shoulder as well. And that'll be it. They've all got their decals then. This shade's nearly dry now anyway, so I can start giving him highlights in a moment whilst I soak these decals. So I might just stand up in a moment to grab a little bit of water, which will be fine. And then I can apply them and just hope for the best that they stick. Fingers crossed. I'll do 2 of the same. I think. Get off my fingers, please. So the ones I've gone for are just these ones in the top corner. If it works, great. If it does not, then I tried. And I will try again. That's the saying, isn't it? If at first you don't succeed, try again. Until you start crying, I guess, but perhaps. Then at that point, take a break. Right. This guy's going to have his highlights done now. Sent you it on Twitter. Thank you so much, Art. We appreciate it. I have a cat hugging my foot. I think he's bored of me painting and wants attention. Okay, this cat is definitely wanting attention because he's just like biting me. Cat behaviour is bizarre. Here we go. That's some of his yellow highlights. The highlights definitely do finish off the figures, that's for sure. It's the one area that I feel like I need to get better at. Like I can do edge highlights fine, but if I want to do any form of like shading style highlighting or like a gradient of highlight, that's where I need to improve and work on that. But yeah, practice makes perfect. Go. There we go. Just got his silver highlights to do now. And then his face highlights, and then he is done. So once again, for his silver highlights, I'm going to use Stormhost Silver. But before I do that, I'm going to quickly just grab a little thing of water so I can actually soak these decals. Bear with me 1 second. And we're back. Get myself comfortable again. There we go. Just quickly drop those decals in for a moment. It won't be long now until I'm using them anyway. Just very subtle, soft highlights. Nothing too extreme. I have my tweezers ready in a moment to help me with the transfer. Hopefully I don't mess it up too badly. There we go. Okay, we'll quickly take this one off and put this guy's on. Thank you, I will do that now. For metal highlights, I used Stormhost Silver. And I used a base of Leadbelcher. I'm going to transfer onto this shoulder here, I think. So wet it with the brush. It's currently on my finger, so I'm just going to try and get it to transfer onto the tweezers. So I can then gently apply it to the shoulder and just hope for the best. If I can unravel it from its snout first, because its snout's currently a little bit folded. This is going to cause me problems. I can see it already. It's on there, but I'm using a little bit of water just to hopefully get it to stick down. There we go. First transfer on. It's a little bit wonky, but you know, never done one before. So I'm not mad about that. So I'm going to put him to one side and just not touch him now for a moment. Just make sure there's no air pockets underneath him so it doesn't lift. And now here. There are a couple bottles you can buy for transfers. One of them isn't priming, the other is for hardening. I think it's called Decal Set. Okay. Yeah, I did read when I was looking it up. It's like something like that, and sometimes gloss varnish is also good as well for helping it stick, or just varnish in general whilst it's still wet. And then going in with like a sealant or a hardener over the top to kind of lock it in place better to make sure it doesn't move or come off. So same thing again, I'm going to just dampen his shoulder on my finger already this time. Yeah, I'll do it this side this time. Micro set and decal set, okay. I have to have a look into that because if I'm going to be using these a lot more often, because they are cool, I would like to use them. It'd be the ideal plan. Then something that would make it easier for them to apply would be a lot better idea. Having said that, that one went on pretty easy. There we go. There we go. I'm happy with that. Right. Whilst that dries now, come on, focus. Thank you. I'm going to just quickly paint the rocky stud on in Eshin Grey. And then what I might do is, I'll probably leave it there to be honest, just because it'll take too long to kind of wait here to watch the blue dry on this base before we can then add the ice and snow effect. But I will do it off camera, and then when it's done I will share it in the posts and on the socials so you guys can see the full and complete finished Space Wolves. Remember, actually I need to do his highlights on his face. So I'll do his highlights on his face first, and then we'll go from there. So it'll be a tiny bit of Gortha, which is this light brown again. With a bit of Pokemons Glow. And to lighten this even more for our highlight, I think I'll add Kislev rather than straight white, because I don't want it to, I want it to be obviously more skin tone. I don't want it to be more I don't want it to be too ashy. So instead of neutral toned browny pinky colour will be much better. Let's create like a chocolate milk colour. Highlighting his forehead, his nose, and then either side of his mohawk. And then he's got this slight, on this cheek, he's just got like a slightly full apple of his cheek. The other one's covered up by his little eyepiece. So we're going to leave that at that on that one. And then a tiny, tiny, tiny highlight on his chin. And that is it. That is every single one of them now done. So, from the beginning, this is the first guy we painted. Then we had our wolf. Then we of course had Miney Boy, who this is the one I accidentally dropped and exploded everywhere, and then Mr. Nat had to quickly perform surgery to recover. But he turned out really cool. Thank you. And then we had my guy with his dreadlocks. Come on, focus. Thank you. My guy with his dreadlocks, who actually is one of my favourites, I think. He's really, really awesome. And then, of course, we did this boy today. I finished him off today with his little decal on his shoulder, which I'm pretty sure I may have to stick that down a bit more because I think it's starting to lift a little bit. But I can figure that out off camera. And then finally, our last mohawk boy. What I'll do once the stream ends, I'll quickly paint this guy's base. And then later tonight, I will upload the photos of the entire set to the socials, so you guys can see it all together, all stood side by side in our shadow box that we have, our light box. But yeah, that is everybody. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching me paint these. They've been really, really fun to paint. I've really enjoyed jumping back into the space walls. Like I said, as of Monday, we will be jumping into some more 40k. We'll be doing Lion L. Johnson. So thank you for watching, guys. It is deeply appreciated. Thank you all for tuning in and supporting us while we painted through the Dead Silence kill team, specifically for the Space Wolves. On the socials, please feel free to share down there in the description the links of what kind of colour schemes you'd like us to do, or like Mr. Nerd to do on his Tau, or anything you'd like to see, because we can leave lots of lovely suggestions there, and also share lots of your photos of anything you've created. We'd love to see them on there. Like I said, over the next week or so, I'm going to be looking into how to create a Discord and setting that up, so we can all join that as well, and we can all talk and communicate through that more openly when we aren't streaming. So again, thank you so much everybody for tuning in over the last 2 weeks to watch us paint this. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight to watch me paint this. And I hope you have a really wonderful night or day, whatever you've got left for your day now. And I will see you all on Monday. So have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are in the world, guys. Bye.